you know. And here we are, to talk a little bit about, the life of Jesus, how Jesus was impactful in his life, how he lived his life uniquely here on earth. Something that, confuses so many people, so many persons, because a few persons think that Jesus' life is just a story or a fiction. How do you find the life of Jesus, unique? How do you find it unique?
Let's say it depends on your personal encounter that you have with Christ. And from there, many persons have their own opinion. To believe if Christ is truly the was Messiah or so. But for many persons, well, I speak for myself. I was church week growing up, so I went to a lot of churches with my
Wow.
grandmother and my mother. So I was groomed at an early age in Christianity and to believe that, you know. But as I grew and did my research, I started to get more connected to Christ and how what struck me the most, how he catered for the poor, you know, was a king that served the poor. And that's what we need now in this modern time. Someone who caters for the poor.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the aspects, in which, that most of us maybe somehow because uh, the expectation of Jesus coming into this world was that, they expected a king who would be majestic, who would be defending them, defending them during wars.
Oh
You know,
yes.
they expected him to be, someone who is so, magnificent in a particular political way, and yet here he comes as a simple man. To a certain time, he was on a donkey,
Mhm.
carried by a donkey. And then he actually chooses to even die for our own sins because we were lost. He also goes forth, to accuse the Pharisees, the teachers of law, who valued the law, then they even valued the human persons, the humanity of persons, the human dignity, He calls
Yeah.
them a brood of vipers, even though they had studied theology, philosophy, they were great people, but they couldn't come to the level of the persons. And this also encourages me, having an encounter with the person of Jesus, who comes to the lowest of places. He comes to heal the people, feed them,
Oh
and
yes.
these are the simplest things that are required in life, because this is what will actually judge you and I, that I was hungry, you gave me no food. I was thirsty. You gave me no drink. I was naked. You didn't clothe me. I was in prison. You didn't visit me.
God, Lord. Mercy.
Yep.
Mm.
And so here we wrap up this because we're in a hurry. We are rushing. But you people, you're free to adapt,
Mhm.
anything that is interesting, and always continue to seek and search what is important and what is special about the life of Jesus, what is unique, and this you can actually experience it
Right.
when you have a deep encounter with Christ, most likely, or through the prayer, or
Mhm.
into the silence, because sometimes we don't have time to listen to our hearts. When you listen deeply to your heart, have that encounter. Yes.
That's true.
Anything you want to tell to the people, to say to the
Yeah,
people?
no, not everybody, is for the silent time, because it is important for us to know the signs.
That's true.
And as my brother said here, the encounter that we would get or have with Christ for us to live in a better world and to make this world better for future generations. You know?
And our friends, it's never late. It is never late to know the life of Jesus. This is
Yes.
something that you discover each and every day of your life. And
Right.
so do not give up. Even if you don't know who Christ is, continue to discover. Recently, I was talking to my fellow Jews. They most likely, or a lot, they don't like to hear the life of Jesus because of whom they consider. And I was also recently again talking to one of my Muslim friends, and it's very clear, told at the end that every knee shall bend before the name of Jesus or at the
Right.
foot of Jesus or to the foot of the cross. So there is no hurry. Yes, there should be haste, but if it has not reached out to you, do not worry because once God is in need of you, He will
Right.
come for you.
At the
Yeah,
right time.
at the right time. But continue seeking Him, doing His will, and doing the good deeds that are all important, especially the charity. Charity to one another,
Yes.
which should be shown and be encouraged.
Right.
Yeah, continue to love one another, then everything else shall follow.
Right.
Big up all people.
Respect.
All right.